Thank you, Madonna, for helping me arrange that. So I get to have a little fun with you today because my sister is here. This is something me and her have argued about for years because a couple of, I don't know, what was it, 10 years ago, she told me that she was a very likable person. So I said, really? Count for me how many friends you have that are not related to you. She couldn't come up with 10. In fact, she couldn't come up with 5. So I was like, I picked on her forever about that. My sister is likable, but you have to like her. So. But today we're going to look at that relationship. We're going to take a time looking at the Bible through a relationship that Paul and Timothy had. A relationship that wasn't just a mentor and his student, wasn't just a boss and his employee, but was a friendship that weaved its way through all of those relationships. So first we have to ask ourselves, who is Paul? Paul was an extremely religious man, upbringing. He was a Pharisee. He was the high priest. He was somebody, children, you are dismissed to go to camp.
We were just
And those are my two. I do love my job, I really do. So we have to look at Paul and see who he was. Paul was a Pharisee. Paul was an extremely religious man. Paul wasn't who you would think of to be running and writing most of the New Testament when you looked at him as he was growing up and as he was a young man. Paul took charge of who he was as a Jew. He was a Jew for not only dating back his lineage, but he was a Jew as a Pharisee. He condemned the Christians. He looked at them and said that they were lower than dirt and they needed to be jailed, imprisoned, or stoned to death. In fact, some people say that he was there when Stephen was stoned to death in Acts. He was the one holding people's coats as they stoned him. So we look at that relationship of Paul and we see, how can he be such a good man of God? Why is it he wrote most of the New Testament? And why in the world would Timothy choose to follow him? Paul had a conversion. On the road to Damascus, Paul fell off a donkey and became blind. Spoke to God, and I always find it funny when he spoke to God because he says, Lord, Lord, who are you? He's a high priest of the Jewish religion. He knows God. Well, that's the problem. He knows him in his mind, but not in his heart. Christians believe that God is within us, not just in our minds, in our hearts, and our actions. Permeate every part of our life. And in the Jewish culture, you knew God because you knew all of his writings. You knew him because he was in your head. And Paul knew God. So when he fell off his donkey and became blind, the Lord asked him, who am I? And he didn't have an answer. He couldn't say, you are Lord. He said, you are little Lord. Somebody who has power, but you're not the big Lord. You're not God of God. You're not King of Kings. Because God of God and King of Kings doesn't interact like that. But Paul ended up being converted to Christianity. And because of that, he started to walk out and started to preach the gospel, proclaim the gospel with the same vigor he persecuted the Christians with. And then he met Timothy. He met Timothy, some people say either on his second or third missionary journey. When I look at it, I think it's towards his second. But you see that as he's going out and he begins to hear of this young man proclaiming God as well. By the time Paul met Timothy, Timothy was already a believer, already a disciple of someone. But Paul went, I know him. People have spoken highly of him. I want him to come with me. I want to teach him how to do things. I want to teach him the gospel in a way that maybe he doesn't quite get yet. And let me be his mentor. So Timothy, with the blessing of his mother and grandmother, went with Paul. And began to walk with Paul and talk with Paul. And they began to form a relationship more than just boss and employee. They began to be a mentor relationship, a friend relationship. A relationship that Paul later would say he has tears over trying to meet him again. waiting for him to come meet him in jail. So, Timothy and Paul walked together, they talked together, they learned from one another, and then Timothy began to have authority of his own. Paul trusted him to go to this church and stay there a while and preach and proclaim the gospel at this one, preach and proclaim the gospel at another church. Or they'd be traveling together and Paul would say, I'm going to leave Timothy with you guys while I go on to somewhere else. Paul recognized in Timothy that he had the ability to do so, so he gave Timothy the authority to do so. It wasn't just Timothy saying, okay, I want to get up here and preach the gospel. It was Paul saying, you are ready to preach the gospel. How many of us have had a job where we get thrown into the mix and nobody's there to encourage us? Nobody's there telling us a good job. Nobody's there saying, you can do it. And then we turn around, we go to a different job, and everybody there is saying, we believe in you. You're going to do a good job. We have faith in you. We much prefer that second job over that first one. And that's what Paul created in Timothy. Now we know Timothy later, in the writings of Timothy, was told he was timid and he was young. Well, in the society, young people don't stand up and preach to the older crowd. Young people weren't the ones telling the older people how they should be living their lives. But that wasn't Timothy. Timothy knew the right ways. He walked the right ways. He learned from Paul the right ways. Not just in knowledge, but in action. So we see this as a relationship building. So what do we do with it now? How do we form that to today's standards? How many of you have a friend more than 15 years older than you? How many of you have a friend that's 15 years younger than you? I have been very blessed in my life. I have known many Pauls who have walked into my life, some of them named Paul. But I've had people encouraging me, telling me that I'm on the right path. Without that guidance, I wouldn't be up here today. So who's in your path? Who are you seeking out? Remember, Paul, when he went to meet Timothy, already heard of Timothy. He knew the good works he was doing. He knew he had the basic understanding. So Paul said, I think he's worth spending my time with. So how many of us at our jobs see a younger employee who has potential but needs some encouragement? And are we willing to encourage them? Are we willing to step out of our comfort box and go up to them and eat lunch with them? Or invite them out after work to get to know them, to encourage them, to let them know that they are doing a good job no matter what everybody else is saying. And at the same time being strong enough to say to them, no, you do need to clean this act up though. Sometimes it's easy for us to go, yes, you're doing a great job, but then get after them when they're not doing a great job. Because then we feel like they won't like us anymore. And then there's those of us who have people older than us that we need to seek out mentors from. We need to look to our people older than us, not as old people who can't lift pews, but as mentors that can help us, that have gone through what we have gone through, who have learned and who can give us wisdom. A couple of weeks ago, I asked a few of the Sunday school rooms to come down to prayer night with the teens. I had 5 adults down there praying for each group of teenagers. It was an amazing time. Because they have wisdom, they have knowledge. Yes, they are not liking the same style of music. Yes, they do not dress the same way. But they gave the teenagers something that nobody else could give them. And we need to find those people in our lives. We need to find the people who can lead us forward in the right way. Or you need to find the person who you need to maybe drag forward a little bit the right way. But we have teenagers graduating high school now that won't be at home much longer. That won't be in the household they grew up in. They'll be going to college, or they'll be getting their own apartment. And then what do they have going for them then? A mother and father or an older brother is a great relationship to have, but they need to have somebody outside of that. They need to have somebody who can speak into their lives that isn't family. Now, I love my older sister, but I don't always talk to her about everything. I love my parents, but I see them even less. But I have those people in my lives that I can call on, that I can ask for prayer from, that I can get advice from, that don't even know they're giving me advice, because that's just the way they live their lives and I see it. So who are you? Are you a Paul? Do you have somebody in your life that you're guiding the right way? Do you have somebody that is on your mind or on your heart right now that you say, I could be doing more for? That I could be helping out just a little more. Or maybe you're getting nudged because you're a Timothy going, maybe I do need to talk to this guy at work. Learn from him. Maybe I need to get in touch with my teacher, with my coach. Allowing them to speak into my life what I need to hear, because I need to be quiet and listen to them. Because I don't know everything at 16. And these people have lived a lot longer and made the same mistakes I'm about ready to. So who are you? Now, there are those of us in the middle. I have many Pauls, but I also have many Timothys. I have to do both. I get to do both. And it's a wonderful feeling. I haven't gotten to know all the teens, especially the ones graduating this year. I know my teens from who I see on Wednesdays and who I see at church on Sundays, but I don't know all of you. And I know you guys are awesome because I know your parents, and they're pretty cool. Sometimes. I know the family that you have. I know the church that you belong to, that you call home. And I pray that you will always be able to call this church home. And if not this one, another one. So as we leave today, keep this on your mind. Who are you? Are you a Paul or are you a Timothy? Or do you need to strive to be one? Because all of us fit into one of those categories. All of us have the opportunity to learn from somebody or to teach somebody. And it doesn't mean that we just do it at work or at school or on the practice field. It means we do it at our homes. We invite them in. We let them see us go up and down through our lives, because that's what makes it real. That's what makes the relationship form. It's not they see the perfect picture of us at church, because none of us are perfect. They see the ups and downs. They see what we struggle with, and they know that they can count on us because they struggle too. So yes, this makes us open and makes us vulnerable, but we need to be. We can't stick our noses up in the air at people. There's a world around us that needs us, and a lot of you are stepping out into it. So who are you going to be? Bow your head this way. Dear Lord God, dear Lord Jesus, I just thank you and I praise you, Lord God. The examples you give us in your word, Lord God, are hard to live up to. They're not easy, the concepts are great, Lord God. We want to say yes, we want to be like that, but it takes work. It takes our willingness to submit to you, to love you and to put you first. I pray, Lord God, for everybody here. I pray that you will be with us. Touch our lives, open our minds and our hearts to the people around us. Bring us to the people that need you the most. so that we may be the light shining on the hill, so that we may help guide them to you. I praise you and honor you, Jesus. Amen. So, the great part of this Sunday is I get to embarrass a bunch of teenagers. And unfortunately, Ellie was supposed to send me a video of Blake, but she didn't. So, but I have a funny story about Blake anyways, but I'll tell you that when I bring him up here. Bob is going to come up here with me. As being the old youth pastor, he has gotten to know a lot of you better than I have. Yes, the old youth pastor. The old youth pastor. I've had the privilege of getting to know your teens. I love them all for different ways. I mean, some of them allows me to be 18 again. Others make me think more than I want to. But that just means you guys have been doing your jobs at the church. And now we want to give them a Bible, allowing them to study the Word of God and to take it with them wherever they go. Far too many people don't have one in their lives and don't read it, and we're hoping that you guys do. So as I call out your name, I want you to come forward. I sent out a questionnaire, and if you did not send it back to me, then you'll just have to answer and I'll give you a mic. Or some of you, I'll just give you a mic anyways. So first, let's have Sierra Ball. Sierra's graduating from Jay County High School. She's in the marching band, the guard, show choir, and worked as a page at Jay County Library. Was a page?
I don't know.
Rock on! Well, this is even better. She got the Jay County Page Scholarship. If you don't know what it is, how'd you get the scholarship?
You get the scholarship for being a page.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't take much. Jay County Honors Award for GPA higher than 3.8 or higher. So basically she's smarter than me, but I get to make fun of her. She is planning to go to Ivy Tech to study culinary arts. So she's going to be a chef, and she's going to chef, bakery, what?
I hope to open my own restaurant someday.
So you're going to minor in business then too, or? You don't know? Okay. Well, see, this is what I get to do. You only gave me one line, so. Thank you very much. Good luck. It's you. Blake. Blake is graduating from Jay County High School as well. Activities and clubs included National Honor Society, Academic Team, National Art Honor Society, Spanish Club, and a bunch of others. Literally a bunch. He has received the Portland Foundation Outstanding Recognition in Art Page Scholarship, Certificate of Merit Math, Jay County Hospital Foundation Scholarship, Air Force Mathematics and Science Award, and the last one, Bosch and Loeb Honorary Science Award. So he's another one that is far smarter than I am. He graduated at top of his class. He found out yesterday, so I was able to say it without lying. Although this is how smart he is. Loved him. He came out to help me with the VBS paintings yesterday. And I thought, since he was the only one to come out and help me, that I would take him out to lunch. So we went to Jenny's. Well, I said, okay, so do you think, what should we do? I'll drive you over there. He said, no, we should walk. So we walked to Jenny's yesterday at 12. At 12:30, it was pouring outside. Luckily, his sister likes him, so we were able to borrow her car to come back, but he can't read a simple app on a phone to let him know it's going to be raining. So he plans on going to pre-med school and then eventually getting his doctorate in cardiology. So he's going to be able to revive Bob next time Bob goes out.
I just want to say something real quick for Blake, you know, is this on?
Black. Thank you. If any of you have seen his art, you get a chance to today. He's really good at it. So once he becomes a cardiologist, I expect to have this beautiful piece of art right here. Okay?
All right. Jacob Hilty. Jacob's graduating from Jay County High School. He's part of the volunteer fire department for Bryant, CNC Bible Fellowship, and part of the Bryant Westland youth group and part of the youth council. He has been one of the hardest working teenagers I have on the council. I mean, he'll do anything you ask him to, including moving something you thought couldn't be moved, fixing stuff that I didn't think could be fixed. He's great. He's basically just like his dad. You know, more hair. He is a National Mathematics Award, and he is on honor roll. He is planning to get a manufacturing certificate through Ivy Tech. Congratulations. Michael McKinley. Michael is graduating from Jay County. Okay, yeah, but he wrote in 3 schools. He's graduating from Jay County, South Adams, and homeschool is what he has. So I was a little curious on that one. Activities, 4-H shooting sports, Winchester Youth Mowing Crew, Bryant Youth Council, Skills USA, CNC, national level, is that 3rd, 4th, and 3rd place? So, sure. You didn't write this video. No. He has scholarships from Lincoln Tech, Ivy Tech, Vincennes, and Ohio Tech. And he's planning, oh, okay, you didn't write this either, so you are going to Ivy Tech in Fort Wayne in the fall. Okay, I didn't know if you knew that. Michael is one of those people that I said I get to be a teenager again. I get to because he makes me swords. And I get to beat him up. It's wonderful. So, congratulations, Michael. Jake. Jake is graduating from Jay County High School. He attends the Dunkirk Church of Nazarene Awards. He's received a baseball scholarship, and he also got recruited to pitch for the University of St. Francis on the baseball team. So as the other 2 were extremely smart, he is extremely athletic, which is again something I am not. So, I have to ask you a question. So when do you play your first game? Do you have to sit a year out like football, or do you get to play your freshman? Rock on. Okay. Just I don't get to ever talk to him, so this is the only time I get to when I bring him over on stage. He filled out very little. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us? Because you only gave me like 3-word answers to everything. That was it? Man, a few words? No? Congratulations, Jake. Sophia. Sophia is graduating from South Adams High School. Activities included National Honor Society, 4-H, Campus Live, Concert Band, Prep Band, Pit Orchestra, South Adams Musicals, and Dots in the Blue Water. What is that?
It's an organization that distributes water purifiers.
Oh, cool. So that's the only thing, just about the only thing in here that didn't have to do with music, so awesome. She has gotten the Purdue Presidential Scholarship, the Nick Taylor Memorial Scholarship, First Bank of Burns Scholarship. She's the top 10% of her class and valedictorian of her class. So she is, again, another extremely smart person that I get to make fun of. She plans on attending Purdue University, majoring in business management. So what do you want to do with business management? So basically, you have no idea yet.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Okay. Congratulations. Brandon. Brandon gets the microphone. What high school are you graduating from?
Jay County.
Jay County, okay. What activities or clubs were you involved
I wasn't in any.
in? Not in any? Okay. Scholarships, what are you planning on doing?
I plan on working.
Working?
Yeah.
Do you know where?
Dayton Progress.
Oh, cool. So you're going straight into the workforce then?
Yeah.
Awesome, so did I, so it works out. Anything else you want to do in the future? Just want to work, get money,
Yeah.
raise money? Rock on. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Michael Rodriguez. Michael gets the mic too. Awesome. What high school are you graduating from?
Jay County Christian Academy.
Jay County Christian Academy? Cool. Activities or sports?
None.
None? Don't do anything? What do you plan on doing after high school? You know, in 3 weeks.
Working a job for a while.
Working a job for a while? Oh, cool. So, no long-term goals?
College eventually.
College eventually? Do you know where you want to study? No. See, this is why we fill these out. Thank you, Michael. Congratulations. And Jennifer. Jennifer is graduating from Jay County High School. Activities included FFA, HOSA, 4-H, and National Honor Society. What's HSOA? Oh, health occupations. Any scholarships, anything like that? Awards? You don't know? Okay. And she plans on going to IWU to study nursing. You realize that's like the top school in the state, right? So they're going to put you through your tests. I have 2 people I know graduating. One graduated, one's in it, and they're about ready to pull their hairs out. Are you sure you're ready for this? Positive? You don't look too convinced. Thank you, Jennifer. Congratulations. These are a great group of teens. The ones I have gotten to know have been wonderful to have them in my youth group on Wednesdays, to be able to go places with them, activities, bring them over to my house. Others I know have done other things throughout the church, have given their time to help out with Kids Club rather than coming to youth. So instead of having fun with us, they've been giving back to the younger generation. So I just want to thank all the teens and I want to wish them luck. Bob would like to say a few words about them as well.
I have, over the years, have had the opportunity to see a lot of our youth grow up in this church and really to really come to know God. And it's just been a blessing. I see what Graham is doing, and he's just a great, example for the youth here, Michaela and Jacqueline, and all of these people, and now these graduates here. And they were, a lot of them in my youth group for a long time. I want to say how much of a blessing it was to me to watch you guys grow up, to become closer to the Lord, and just to flourish. It has just been an exciting thing. It has been a great blessing to me, and I know that you are going to bless a whole lot of other people the people that you meet in the future as you go on to what you're going to do at your college, the people that you meet. And I pray for you that you will always remember who you belong to. You belong to God. He has given you all these gifts, these talents, for you to do something. Get close to Him and find out what that is, what He wants you to be doing with these gifts and talents. Again, you've been a blessing to me, and I thank you for being part of our youth group and part of our church, part of our family. Thank you, Jeff.
At this time, I would like all the graduating seniors to go out to their tables. Work your way out there now, so that way you don't have to weave in between people as they head out there for the food, because, we all love food. Sorry. We all love food, so we don't want to trample any of these little kids over. There is food out there, soup, sandwiches like normal. Go out there, shake their hands, tell them congratulations, and let them know that they did a good job and that we will be praying for them in the future as well, okay? Bow your heads as we pray. Dear Lord God, dear Lord Jesus, I just thank you and I praise you, Lord God, for being good to us, for allowing us to come together to listen to your word and to honor these teens that are graduating this year. I pray that you will be with them, guide them, allow them to see you in everything that they accomplish. I praise you and honor you, Lord Jesus. Amen.